It is now 6:01. Thank you, everyone, for making it this evening. Thank you for joining us for yet another AIE Remembrance Day. I am Lang Theris, and I'll be your MC to kick this event off. I believe that Max is streaming in one of the various different games that we are all playing in or have a hand in. Thank you, Max, for doing that.
Yep.
So usually this is where at the point where Lang turns into a giant blubbering fool. And I'm hoping that that will not happen again, because every year I say I'm not going to break down, and every year I prove myself wrong. But here's my next attempt. So many of you, first of all, just a quick note: who here does not know what Remembrance Day is? Speak now, or forever hold your peace.
Or maybe just say if it's your first time.
Oh yeah. So,
This is my first time.
This is my first time.
So back in the, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My first time.
Welcome.
So, yeah. So again, welcome. So the beginning of Remembrance Day was actually due to the passing of a much loved early guild member by the name of Bruce Galloway, aka Milliway. Henceforth, why we make a reference to Milliways. And Milliway was one of those individuals that really helped shape the guild culture, and was the kind of guy who, if you needed something, he would like take off the shirt off his back, lend you his car, borrow his wallet. And he was an interesting guy. He was one of those guys that I remember hearing a story from his family stating that, well, actually, it was one of his friends from work. They had gifted Bruce a pocket watch for his birthday. And everyone in his particular office had saved up a little bit, like $5, and they got him this really neat pocket watch, a really long chain. And they enjoyed asking. At first, it was a tease, but I should turn into a real enjoyment whenever they would ask Bruce, "What time is it?" And Bruce would make this giant flourish of reaching into his pocket, pulling out this long 6-inch chain, looking at the clock. Why? It's 6:01. Unfortunately, he died this day in 2007 due to a heart failure due to I believe it's got delaminated aorta. And we took it really, really hard. If you wanted to learn more about it, you're more than welcome to go to the old archives of the instance and actually listen up to that old episode. But he kind of started the ball rolling when it comes to creating a kind of inclusive, positive environment. We strive to create an AIE, something that a lot of us didn't have, in at least back then in WoW, because we all come from like other organizations, other cultures where it was a little bit more hectic, a little bit more crazy, a little less egalitarian. So he was the guy who kind of created the culture, and then unfortunately he died. And over the years, with any organization, we do lose some individuals. We did lose Bruce in 2007. We lost various other guildies like Vandal Claw, aka the Panda Guy, and Roger White in 2017. And that one also really hit home because Ralph was also a good friend of mine and actually had helped me with my decision to go back in the college, finishing getting my degrees. And here I find myself an overpaid, like overeducated person, and it's like, oh, thank you, Ralph. So we take this as a moment of celebration and fond reflection of those who came before us and have unfortunately have passed. And this is not only just like our fellow guildmates, but also friends and family, because we do lose individuals that are important to our lives. And here's where I would like to ask the audience, again, one at a time, if you have someone that you've forgotten that you'd like to care to remember and mention right now, feel free.
I do want to mention guildmate, someone who I had come to talk to since she had to step aside from the Wednesday night ops group as the leader. talk to her multiple times a week over Discord, Jana, which I still miss her to this day. I miss talking to her quite a bit.
And if you don't mind me interrupting, I know that we have several events going on. I know we have something in WoW going on at the Shrine of the Fallen Warrior. We do have something in Lotro. We do ask people to, please, by all means, kneel at the location that you're at. No weapons. That's kind of been turned into a guild tradition.
I lost my brother Eric back in April. He didn't play WoW, but he was a very creative artist and a crazy person. And he didn't die necessarily because of COVID, but it definitely worsened a situation that he had. And it's a little strange, but I have a champion at my warlord's garrison whose name is Eric Matthews, and Eric and Matthew are my two brothers, and I like to say hi to him whenever I go in there, which is pretty often, and think of him and all the crazy. He loved to make special effects horror movie makeup, so he's a worgen there, and it's something in the game that is really precious to me and was completely accidental. And sometimes that's what happens.
I do want to take this time to acknowledge that, at least for me, I don't feel that I'm necessarily speaking for everyone, but this has been a difficult time, not only because of the pandemic and the various other issues that are going along societal-wise, but these are the individuals who kind of try to be at your best behavior and be the best person you could possibly be because of them. I personally have lost 2 colleagues to COVID in the last 15 months. And prior to that, I had actually just lost my grandmother. I love my grandma. She was a very difficult person to be around. She was a difficult grandma. Unlike most people with their stereotypical grandmas who would bake them cookies and take them out for outings or go to the ice cream shop, my grandmother was a hoot and a pain in the behind. But she was my grandma, and because of it, I do have some very fond memories of the fact that almost my entire taste in music as a young teenager were shaped by her. Because unlike many other grandmas who were listening to Neil Diamond, my grandma was listening to the Smiths and Depeche Mode and Duran Duran. As you can imagine, that was an interesting upbringing.
My kind of woman.
I have a couple of remarks that I'd like to put out there. So, in the early days of Final Fantasy XIV and AIE's presence in there, we, my wife and I, we lost our first daughter, and it hit me pretty hard. Some people here may remember that. Me going through that and so forth. I can safely say that AIE has helped me get through and process a lot of the emotions that came through there, going through the grieving process. And it's not something that we talk about too often, but I do have at least for me personally, a little spot in our free company house that's dedicated to her. A little candle that's for her. And then this past year, also losing my mother. There was also another very similar feelings coming through there. You really don't. You may not understand how these games here and these communities and these relationships you form virtually, and how real they actually really are. So, cherish this time. Cherish the people that you have here, because it's they're much more real than some people may think.
I know I don't have the best memory due to who I am and how I am. And names, if I don't speak to you often or see you often, I will forget about you for a good while. And one of the people I remember the most a bit, I don't even remember who he was too much, was Haster. And he would come in and help do the new braid nights. And he passed away over a year ago due to COVID. And just the idea that I'll never get to know him again. I won't remember the things that we did and the fun that was had. It will never be there again. And that's why I try just to be a positive force out there, because if we don't, I don't want people to be forgotten in my mind.
One of the reasons we have this event, and it's not even, I like to say that this is more than just remembering the people that have come and gone in our life, but also an opportunity to kind of catch up sometimes, because life does get kind of busy. I was like lurking around on Facebook the other day, and I was overjoyed to see that one of our former officers here in WoW, Kefis, is now a dad. He has a 1-week-old son, and another former officer of ours, Visigoth, now has a bubbly 4-year-old daughter, which is running him around. And I find it funny because I remember when we first started, he was a brash young player in his early 20s and say, "No girl can never tell me what to do." And there he was, playing make-believe with his daughter, playing Tea Party with a frilly hat.
So, Jana, as Mal said earlier, is the reason why I'm here. And I met her a long time ago because of Max and Seema's podcast. And if you ask Max and Seema, it was probably only a year ago that this happened. But she was looking for a team member in Star Wars. And I always wanted to do the operations or raids in the game. And I was in a different guild. And Albus and Jana and the whole team they just made fun of me that I was the only person not in AIE, and I didn't know. And when I after about 2 weeks of it, I left the guild that I was in and I came here, and I was blown away by the community and everybody here. And Abba was mentioning earlier about these friends, and some of these friends, I've been there for them when their fathers passed away or their dog passed away. And some of these friends that we all have here are more real than the people that you get to shake their hand or give them a hug in real life, to me. And without this community, I wouldn't have found myself again. And because of it, all of you are like that family. And it was amazing to meet Jana in person, because she was one of the first that I got to meet from the community, other than a few that I met at a cantina in New York City. And you don't realize that when you see somebody for the first time after never knowing their face and you just hear their voice in real life, it's a weird but happy feeling. Being able to give somebody a hug that you've met and talked to every week for years, it's really, really special. Or being there for them when something bad happens, because sometimes, they go to a video game in this community to just be with friends. And AIE means so much to me. every day. I'm thankful that I'm here.
Thank you for saying that, Marcus. I myself like to say that it is because of this guild that I have visited so many big cities and in states in this country, because solely for the sole fact of going to go visit current and former guildies.
Well, hey, I wanted to also say thanks to everyone who's here tonight, and thanks to everyone who was in all of our Summer of Love stuff in all of our games throughout the week. This is our biggest of our guild events throughout the year. Although we're having more and more interesting guild events in our various games and across the games and across the community. And I think what this highlights today, and what Summer of Love highlights, and our the way we're expanding really highlights, is AIE is about our community and us sort of hanging out together and with friends, and not about any game in particular. And that's something we all can be sure will persist, no matter what happens in any game, or how games change, or we move on to other things, or we would want to just get together on the side and play some board games or have some tacos in real life. That's all part of AIE as well. And that has evolved over the years and just become more and more a part of who we are. And having everyone here for an event like this sort of really drives that home, and I think that's really special.
Yeah, the
Hey,
games.
how are you doing? No, it's okay. You're. It's okay for you to talk. I'm glad you're here.
To echo what Max was saying, the games are truly as transitory. Games come and games go. It's the relationships that you end up making in the games. That's the important part. It's not the pixels, but the person behind the keyboard.
I see a bunch of things going on in the chat channel as well, in the
Yep.
Remembrance Day channel. Feel free to speak up and talk about some of those things if you want, but a lot of really touching and important things there too.
I know while the person that leads us right now, Cyrene, she's going through a heck of a time. And if it wasn't that this was a no cursing family thing, I would have a certain expletive cancer because of what she's going through right now. She's battling for her life. I understand things are doing good there, and she's going to be okay, but it's still a situation where we could have lost her. I see people out with their left sharks that has become the staple of her because of everyone sending a left shark to her back in the day. I believe she has a collection of 400 something.
Anyone else have any words they'd like to share?
I would like to say that this guild, this family, means a great deal to my husband and I. Sky is currently representing in WoW Classic in the Burning Crusade all by himself. He doesn't have a microphone. But this guild, we've been part of this guild since probably 2009, 2010. It's a wonderful place to be. I love this guild. You people are, and in the last year and a half, this guild became even more because we were so distant and so stuck. But having you, knowing that there was somebody on the other side of a Discord channel, somebody who you could talk to, made the world of difference for a lot of people. Thank you. Thank you for being here for me during the last 11 years.
I have to concur with that. It was this guild and the members in it that kept me sane, particularly in the early days of the pandemic, as we would get together in, of all places, like Animal Crossing, to keep ourselves entertained and kind of just like not thinking about how horrible the news was. And in the meantime, we all became Animal Crossing millionaires because we gamed the system.
Turnip trillionaires.
I don't know about you, but I'm going to be building on my own spaceship rocket and launching myself into space with my turnips. Well, with that said, I do not know yet. I accidentally closed the stream. This is usually the part of the event where people will start processing. I know in WoW they'll be going from the Shrine of the Fallen Hero down to Orgrimmar. Anyone here representing either the Final Fantasy contingent or any of the other games? Tell us what traditionally do you guys do in your game? I'm going to pick Abovan on this one. So what are you guys doing in Final Fantasy 14, Abba?
Abba, you're muted right now.
He's muted.
I totally am muted right now after I started talking, giving a heartfelt speech. That is such as life, such as last year is, oh, whoops, I'm on mute. But, so the Final Fantasy crew are doing a little change this year to accommodate newer characters and trials. So that, so we're starting in the East Shroud, in the Sweet Bloom Pier, and processing through the East Shroud, and ending our procession at the Sanctum of the 12. And we're going to end our procession there. Any guests that we encounter along the way are welcome to come. And then after we all get there, we will teleport to the Free Company house where we proceed to the basement for further remarks and reflection.
Somebody's talking and it'll beep over the top of them.
So I think each game is doing something. So is Greybug in? I think they're talking to a couple of their crew right now. They are doing procession in Star Trek Online and moving, taking everyone through sector space from the guild fleet holdings there to the Wolf 359 Memorial. Everyone in Star Wars, I see everyone there right now. We're all on Aldron at the place we call our Remembrance Point that overlooks off the mountainsides and overlooks the mountains in Aldron. We'll do a walk down into the valley. I see everyone at the Shrine of the Fallen Soldier in World of Warcraft. A significant group of people here. I just was in Guild Wars at the Memorial Wall. There's a couple people there. I was in Lord of the Rings Online, and there's a couple people at the Memorial Point in the ruins overlooking the Prancing Pony above Bree. So we've got quite a few activities and memorials going across all our games. And then Dankinia's in ESO. I forgot about that one too. ESO, it has the crew there gathering, I think, in Dankinia's house. Dankinia, are you in here? She could probably explain. Some of these leaders are off helping people get set up, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, Max, she said she was going to be late, but people should still gather at her house.
Great. All right. So yeah, Lank, are we ready for those processions?
Time for the processions to begin. And as the processions begin, please feel free to go ahead and talk and reminisce and share funny stories of people who we might have lost, may not have lost, and just lost touch. What you had for lunch today?
So this morning, like early in the morning, I walked into my kitchen and I posted the video and I found one of the little kittens that I've been taking care of from Mama Cat literally impersonating Garfield today. I feel
Was it the lasagna pan?
No, she was hanging off of the screen door that I've got between my little office.
Oh, like Garfield back in the day, I used to find those like little Garfield plushies stuck on the back window of a car.
Very much so.
Of course, if you're watching the stream, you get to see a couple of the games that we're in the procession that's going on. Or processions, plural.
I'm glad to see we've got some alliance with us tonight.
That's going to be interesting to go to Orgrimmar with them.
Well, we can be outside the back gate.
Yeah.
Yep, we've started doing that the last couple of years. In World of Warcraft, as we've expanded, I'm looking here. We have almost half alliance, which is nice.
I love your backpack there, Gusty.
I covet your mask. I would steal it if I could.
Ralph was a PvP god. He helped me get my warrior.
Nice.
I remember.
We have a mixture of Republic and Empire on SWTOR too. I like it. We should all get along.
I remember hearing a story about Ralph and how
Just one.
Well, it was about him and during either a NerdCon or such at the Guild Hall during BlizzCon, where he was playing with a bunch of the kids of people, the little shoots and ladders and stuff games. I'm like, I knew. People say I knew him, but I don't remember him. That's what I dislike the most about my memory is I will forget people. But I know he made such an impact on people that he will not be forgotten.
I remember one Nerdtacular about Ralph. He brought an Apple TV and everything hooked up to the there and set up a whole event called the Derp Olympics, and it was awesome. It was essentially just competitive iPhone games on the TV, but with Ralph, he had it all planned out, and even had the name for everything. The dude definitely had a great way of like branding things and naming things. A lot of our fun things that we do in the guild have been named by him.
He had a knack for the acronyms, didn't he?
Yes, he was the one who coined the GURP process, correct? And
Oh, during the Great Guild Sundering, yes.
The what process?
We used to have a process.
So this was back a few years ago when, prior to there being co-guilds, we had one ginormous guild, and the database would only list 500 people. So there was a point where we didn't even know how many members we actually had because the listing just quit after 500. So
Like Jurassic Park.
yeah. So Blizzard announced that they would be putting a hard cap on a guild at 500, and we had approached Blizzard saying, "Hey, so how's that going to work with a guild that could be, we don't know if we're well, actually, I think at that time we were like numbering around like 5,000 characters in the guild." And they were like, just give us a big shrug. It might work. It might not. We don't know.
The GURP process, though, was the guild expansion. We used to have a process in the very beginning when we wanted to start to expand the guild into other games. And we'd make sure that it was a game that was sort of right for AIE, and can we really support it? We've gotten so good at it these days, we don't use the GURP process anymore, but GURP was also, it's the name of one of Scott Johnson, one of the founders of the original guild, is one of his characters. His very first character in World of Warcraft was named GURP. So as we do in a lot of places still around AIE, come up with the acronym first. So GURP was the acronym. And then you back into it what it means. So then it was like guild expansion recruiting process or something like that.
I think that's called a retronym.
Yeah, a backronym or a retronym. Yeah.
The only time where that didn't happen was the Great Firdoff, when said guild sundering happened, and we were build the first initial co-guilds, and he actually wrote an add-on that all the officers were using at the time.
Greenwall?
It wasn't Greenwall. There was this one channel that I think it was like there was the AIE LFO channel, and we had broken up the guild into, I think, 6 sub-guilds and listed them. So all the officers had this little add-on running, and all it would take is for someone to go into this channel and just basically yell out "FERT." FERT being Scott Johnson's favorite way of discussing about certain bodily function. So we had thousands upon thousands of people FERTing all over general chat, AIE LFO channel. And I believe like a lot of the officers were on like marathon 24 hours a day just to make sure that people can get into their subsequent correct co-guild.
Scott has a unique way with names.
That unique way is what? 4 letters and some kind of bodily function?
Well, I remember he would always say Stabby McGillicuddy or
Stabby McStabby Stab?
Yeah.
He would enjoy the new raid. One of the bosses I have dubbed Stabby McFloorpants.
We should have a raid encounter where you must fight a giant Tauren riding a little like playground tiger wearing nothing but like a banana hammock and a mariachi hat. True story.
I would fight that boss.
I would just sit there and emote hugs at it.
That too.
So Memorial Walk update. It looks like the Star Wars group is down in the valley. At the
Where did they
bridge.
walk to?
So we start from Remembrance Point and we just walk down into the valley onto one of the bridges, and that's where we sort of set off our fireworks.
So you actually have a place called Remembrance Point. That makes it easy to.
Well, we call it that. We've been going it for 9 years now. But it's that place in the mountains that looks out over the mountains and on Algeron. I see Final Fantasy has reached their destination. It looks like.
I see Lars is sitting in Dan Kinnea's home on the stream.
So is it
And
their
whose
final
stream
destination?
is Lars showing that on?
On the AIE stream, I see a little picture. Lars Gagner.
Oh, he posted that in Discord. Great, good to see.
Yeah. I will say one of the things I love that's happened recently is the Dungeons and Dragons groups that we've been doing.
Yeah, that's really been a hit. We've got a few groups that run regularly now, and that's been one of the ways that we've expanded in the last year. Started some Dungeons and Dragons groups. Started some board every 2 weeks. There's a board game night that's open to everyone. It's every other Thursday. We've done more just of like we had our streaming event where we were streaming casual games, just like Jackbox games, having a whole bunch of fun with that kind of stuff. The one thing I really miss, that I really truly miss and hope we get back before too long, is a lot of the in-person stuff that we used to do. There will be some in-person stuff coming up by fall for a couple things. There's going to be I believe a Boston meetup that Marcus is organizing.
Woohoo, Boston!
And then I really hope we get another AIE Guild, big AIE Guild meetup maybe next year in Utah. And for anyone that's not familiar with that, this is going back a few years now. There were probably 8 years, 6 to 8 years of community events. It was AIE plus the Frog Pants Podcast Network, a little bit of a con that would happen. In the last few years that happened, it was in the mountains in Utah.
They have airports in Utah?
Salt Lake City is a pretty big city. But the mountains are beautiful. And
Salt Lake does indeed have an airport. I know. I was stranded there for 24 hours.
I'm so sorry.
I remember just something clicked in my head with one of the old Instance shows, and them talk about, make sure you drink a lot of water because it will drain out of you quickly.
Yep, and it's at altitude and that kind of thing. It was a blast. We had an AIE running group, even that.
No, you had an AIE running group.
Well, me and there was at least two of us every day. There was at least two of us every day, and some days more.
To add to that, there's now the AIE Fitbit group, upon which I'm always grumbling that I can never seem to beat Bach, because who exactly walks 24,000 steps in a day?
Oh, Bach's amazing.
Mal.
I do.
Yeah. Mal does.
Mal does, yeah.
Well, I work in retail, so there's a good chance I might.
He's got to find a puppy and then just put your little Fitbit on the puppy.
That's called cheating, and we don't do that in the AIE.
No, we don't get caught in AIE.
No, but there's a lot of different things. I know that here down in Southern California, we're talking about having a giant, well, at least not by giant, but like get together to go watch Dune in IMAX when it comes out.
You're in SoCal?
Yep.
So am I.
Thanks a lot. IMB in Pasadena.
I know the area.
I'd be west of you.
And I'd be north of both of you. I'm up in Lancaster.
I'm at the west end of the San Fernando Valley.
So, Dune, IMAX.
When?
We're working it out because we need to find out because we're kind of spread everywhere between like the Inland Empire here in LA and of course now you in the Valley. So probably it's going to be somewhere probably in the Inland Empire to make because there's a bigger contingent there. But we just need to find a suitable IMAX theater to go watch that. Which, by the way, as Max was saying, we're kind of spreading out into different avenues. Definitely check out like the Sci-Fi Fantasy Book Club because although we haven't had a chance to actually get together and have a book discussion because everyone's schedules are crazy and there's a bunch of things going on. Everyone seems to like, yeah. We've unilaterally decided to, hey, we're going to go read Dune. We're going to marathon Dune before the movie starts.
We had one book club discussion so far. It was just me and Lank, but we had it.
That is true.
Is that the same as the running group?
No.
A quick question here.
Yep.
How many games are we running the procession in right now?
Star Wars,
42.
World of Warcraft, Star Trek.
Lotra does not have a
Final
procession,
Fantasy.
but fireworks are being set
Yeah,
off.
so four actual processions, and then just additional meetups in Guild Wars, Lord of the Rings, and ESO. So seven total games, 4 processions.
8 because Classic Burning Crusade has somebody in it.
Great.
And he walked by himself.
Oh, do we have anybody with us here in WoW as we approach Orgrimmar who's brought the fireworks? Because I parked an alt with a bunch of fireworks in Orgrimmar. Sounds like it's time to. Good planning for my part. She'll get to do her thing.
Yeah, we've got a lot less people in WoW than we have in the past for obvious reasons. So
For obvious reasons. When we did our running of the beef yesterday, one of our stops was to visit the new NPC Field Marshal Stonebridge.
Running of the beef?
Her spot. Running of the beef.
I didn't know beef could run.
They can't. I believe Tauren might have been one of the first races.
Yes.
To do.
Yep, it was one of the original races.
It was one of the original fun events that was put together sort of on the side as we were sort of inventing Summer of Love. We said, well, what kind of player events should we be having in a game like World of Warcraft? And somebody came up with the Running of the Bulls,
right?
Running of the Bulls kind of event with Tauren, and they called it Running of the Beef, and it spread to many games. I think we have had running of the gnomes. We've had running of.
We've done trolls a couple times. We've done gnomes at least once.
We've done it in Star Wars, and we each
Yes,
made
we did.
a muscly dude and called it Running of the Beefcake. With no shirts, so running around the fleet.
Did we do one in Eve, which was essentially just a Scott Johnson look-like contest?
A what?
Wow.
I don't know if it was that. I know definitely we had an event where we basically invited a siren to join, and the joke was how many times we can bump her ship or blow her up.
So what other fun?
See how long we could stay alive.
So what other fun events have we had this last week?
Well, we did Running of the Beef last night, and we had a battle pet safari.
Yep.
Before that, collecting on both Alliance and Horde side. people got together and we got 11 different pets for people. Not everybody got all of them because only one dropped, and a couple of toys that are really fun.
ESO.
And those are the two I know about.
Yeah.
Loco did a concert.
We had an epic map night.
Saw pictures.
What made it epic?
Just we just had tons of people having tons of fun.
Two full groups
On
at
there.
least.
I think we had 2 full groups, and we almost had to break into 3.
Yeah. ESO had a fun night on Friday, killing dragons, among other things. Touring some houses. That was very cool. Corley set up a really amazing and one of my favorite guild events that we've done across any game. We've done it in a couple games now, called the Amazing Race. Quite a complicated event over the course of 2 hours, where you get clues to locations and then challenges when you get there, and roadblocks and clues to the next location. You race around the galaxy. We did fun nights.
That sounds really fun.
In Star Trek and Guild Wars. We had those as well. Tonight in Star Trek is after the Remembrance Day. I think they're going to continue with a special edition of the Star Trek podcast. So if people aren't familiar, there's
someone had fireworks.
The official AIE podcast, and then there's 3 other AIE affiliated podcasts, which are two in Star Wars, Working Class Nerds, and the SWTOR Escape podcast, and then the Fleet Action Report podcast. And these are all AIE podcasts that have grown up over the course of the past few years. So that's fun. Did I miss anything else? We had quite a bit going on this week.
Can I so if all the processions are done, I would like to invite the Final Fantasy crew to move to teleport over to the Free Company house. And if you are here as a guest, you've been following along with us, you are welcome to come along as well. We're in the Shirgani district, 10th Ward, Lot 31. Shirgani, 10th Ward, Lot 31.
I'm heading out to grab my fireworks character. Be right back to the folks outside org.
So I'm going to try and launch ESO. And so if I disappear, that's because my computer can't take it.
Alexia, what toy is that you have that's doing the fireworks?
In Star Wars?
Yeah, hang on. I have mute issues. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That is Fireworks Fountain. And it was on the anniversary vendor a few years ago, but I think it's on there every year now.
Okay.
Star Wars has a nice toy called Celebration Mishap, which just gives you a big blast of fireworks.
What is that? Who did that? Is that Dent?
Which one? I just did Celebration Mishap.
Celebration? Okay.
With all the flames and the blasts of fireworks everywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Celebration.
Is that on the
Mishap.
anniversary vendor too? Or?
I don't know where that one is. That's an old one. Might have come from
Yeah, it
Cartel
is an
bags.
old one. It might be on the cartel market.
It's a cartel item.
Yeah, I think that's where I got it.
The fun of that one is you open up, large chests and crates of fireworks at your feet, and then you accidentally blow them all up and set them all up at once, and everything catches on fire and explodes.
Celebration Mishap.
Yes.
380 cartel coins.
Oh, that's not bad.
And it's unlimited use, and you can keep spamming it over and over.
And then I unlocked it for all my characters. have it every year.
Evan, man, who set the room up like this?
Doris and myself, we spent some time working on this last night.
The fireworks in WoW were all crafted, right?
Some were purchased from the Dark Moon Fair.
Is that going on in WoW at the moment?
It is. Grab your extra rep.
Are you all flying around in Orgrimmar?
We're right outside the back door because we have some alliance with us.
Yes.
That's always fun. I did that for a session a couple of times. It's fun. It's really cool that we have so many games that you have to choose which ones you're going to enter.
Yeah, I love seeing the pictures from all the different places. All right, somebody put down the thing that makes everyone drunk. And we got some parasols with us.
I'm also putting out the bubbles for you.
So I see that the WoW crew has made it to the back of Orgrimmar. We're celebrating throwing up fireworks.
Yep. I think everyone has reached their destinations at this point.
And toys are being used.
So many sparkles.
Oh, what? Bugsley just got launched.
Oh, somebody just put down Ogre Pinata.
What is that multicolored disco ball lantern thing in Final Fantasy XIV? That is neat.
Which disco ball do you think of? That might be someone's hair.
In Final Fantasy? That might have been Star Wars. I've been switching pretty
Star Wars.
quickly.
Okay.
So Final Fantasy is up now.
Oh, there you go. It's Final Fantasy, yeah.
Right. If the Final Fantasy crew, if we don't have any other people or stories that we want to tell, fire off any fireworks and doodads you may have.
All right, with that, since we're all at our destinations and
thank you for the rainbow.
Completed our walks. Really appreciate everyone joining. This was a very, very well attended event. Very, very happy to see it. So appreciate that, everyone. I think I'll go ahead and stop the stream. We'll try to get a version of this out on the Guild YouTube channel. If you missed the town hall last weekend, that was also up on the Guild YouTube channel as well.
The Guild has a YouTube channel?
Sure does. It's got a Twitch channel, a YouTube channel. Been posting links to those channels as we put things together. So not a lot on it, but as we have events like this, especially, we tend to put up the videos and recordings of that.
No TikTok channel, though.
What is the YouTube channel?
The YouTube channel does not have a nice name yet, so you got to look for the links.
Please subscribe so we can have a nice name.
Yeah, if everyone subscribes, I think we only need probably 15 more, 20 more subscribers, and we'll be able to just make it
like and
YouTube/AIE Guild. But until that time, I think I have links up in the announcements or the events channel. Yeah, there's a link in the announcements channel to the town hall recording from last week on the Guild YouTube channel. There you go.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Lanx, for being the MC.
Yeah.
Thanks for everyone to put it together.
Thanks for the leads in each of the games that put this together and led your divisions and yeah, thank you, Link Theris, for
No,
us through
my pleasure.
another year.
Remember, everyone, just stay being awesome. And look, I made it without turning into a blubbering mess. There is hope for me yet.
I admire that.
Yes, you're awesome.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely.
Well done.
Okay.
So everyone, have a great night. Enjoy your
Night,
games.
guys.
We'll catch you all later.
See you.
Night, Lang.
Later, everyone.
Good night.
Night,
Later.
Seema.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Good night.
everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.